everyone's eyes it's on South Africa at the moment. Katlego has a story. We're talking here about the Oscar Pistorius trial.
Now, day 4 of the Oscar Pistorius trial was a hard one for the Paralympian athlete as he continued to face trial for premeditated murder, while at the same time having to contend with the fact that the day marked the 12th-year anniversary since his mother's death. And at times, of course, he was quite emotional. Now, the court saw a total of 2 witnesses. Charles Johnson was back on the stand again as a witness to the shooting on that Valentine's Day morning. And then another of Pistorius' neighbor, Johan Stipp, was the first on the scene to find Oscar crying over Reeva's body at his house at Silverwood's estate. Now, with us on the line outside the North Gauteng High Court, Shane Germane, journalist at The Star, to give us a summary of the day's proceedings. Shane, once again, a pleasure to have you with us. So let's first start off with, again, the fact that Advocate Roo continues his relentless cross-examination of Charles Johnson, and even charging that Johnson was trying to incriminate Pistorius with his version. And I quote, he said this: there was a design on his side to incriminate. So I just want to know, what were the big issues that Barry Roo had making this claim?
Well, once again, it was Barry essentially attacking both Charles Johnson and his wife, Michelle Berger, of having corroborated their statements. And he said that essentially because they were so similar, that they had essentially decided to put forward a version that would make Pistorius look as bad as possible. Now, Roo was particularly worried about the number of shots. He kept on mentioning how Charles Johnson had even brought up the fact that he had heard between 5 and 6 shots, but that his wife had only heard exactly 4, which was apparently the number that were actually fired. Now, from there, it seemed as though Roo continued his argument that the sounds that they heard had to have been the cricket bat Pistorius used to try and break down that bathroom door, and that ultimately, at the exact time of the shooting, when forensics had discovered the time and the phone calls that suggested the shots were fired around 3:17, Steenkamp would have had to have been in the bathroom, and it would have been impossible for Johnson and Berger to have heard those noises.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, there's not just that. It's the screams, the gunshots, the timing of the shots, and what might have been heard, what might not have been heard. Take us through Charles Johnson's testimony. What did you make of it?
Well, it seems as though he and his wife's testimony is very similar. We know that on that night, they were woken up by several loud noises, presumably 3 to 4, 5, or 6 loud noises, loud bangs, that basically dragged them out of bed. It was after Charles emerged from bed that he went to his balcony and he heard the screams again. He heard a female voice, a male voice, and then he heard another set of sounds that presumably he thought were some form of gunshots. It was after that that...
I'm sorry, it seems we have lost Shane Germane there on the line, but of course there he is giving us his insights on, of course, the testimony by Charles Johnson, who was one of the witnesses on the stand. But we'll get further insights from him tomorrow, as of course day 5 starts at 9:30 today at the North Gauteng High Court in the Oscar Pistorius murder trial.